Good show, good show today. We're talking about, would you say brain disorders?
Well,
to some degree?
But I like to prefer if it is emotional disturbances.
Okay, all right.
Because the thing is, whenever you say mental illness, people don't really want to be told they have mental illness.
Yeah.
And so that turns a lot of people off. Now, emotional disturbance, yes, that's more accurately describes what we're talking about: depression, anxiety.
Why is it if you
ADD.
have a toothache, it's okay, but if you have your brain's not working right, it's like, ooh,
yeah,
they're so cray.
Right.
I mean, why do we do that as society?
I don't understand that. Or if you have a heart condition that you were born with,
Yeah.
well, I have a heart condition. Oh, but if something, people, there's just this stigma related to it, and I want to take some of that down. I don't want people to have a stigma associated with this. This is no judgment. This is nothing like that. This is real physical problems, just like a flu virus might infect your lungs, just like a staph infection might infect your knee. There are real reasons, physical reasons, that people are developing these things, and nobody's talking about it. But we have one of the worst mental statistics ever before in the history of mankind. The latest statistics just came out, and 1 in 4 American adults will experience emotional illness or mental illness in any given year. 1 in 4, 25% in any given year will experience some sort of emotional disturbance. 20% of children ages 13 to 18 experience severe mental disorders in any given year. Not mild, I'm talking severe institutionalized type disorders, emotional disorders. For ages 8 to 15, it's 13% will experience severe emotional disturbance. Now, guys, 40 years ago, we never heard of that. I mean, something has changed. Now, 42 million people, almost 20% of the U.S. population, lives with anxiety disorders such as panic attacks, OCDs, and phobias. 42 million people have anxiety disorders. And so obviously something is going on. This is not just an accident. Now, mood disorders such as depression are now the 3rd most common cause of hospitalizations in the U.S. Wow. Can you imagine that?
Say that again.
Mood disorders such as depression are now the 3rd most common cause of hospitalizations. Not heart attacks, not, auto accidents.
Well, it's high time we start talking about
depression
this.
Is the 3rd most common cause of someone going to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine that? Adults living with these now listen to this. Adults living with these mental disorders die on average of 25 years earlier than other Americans. So if your and my life expectancy is 70, theirs is 45.
Wow. That is unbelievable.
Unbelievable, isn't it? Suicide is now the 3rd leading cause of death in young Americans ages 15 to 24. And so,
and you're saying this can be fixed?
Well, I'm not saying that. That's a hard thing to say on the radio. What I'm saying is I have found solutions that have great promise at reducing, stabilizing, and helping these patients. And so, of course, you can't just give a broad brush, yes, these things can be fixed.
And I apologize for using...
No, that's okay. But these things can be reduced, stabilized, and helped by using some of these things. And of course, you just have to be real careful about how you say that. But yeah, these things we have a lot of research that shows that other people in the past have been helped by doing things to make their brain healthier. It's just really that simple.
And I would imagine, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's kind of like being an alcoholic. It's something that you have to visit every day of your life.
Right. Exactly. Now, although military members comprise less than 1% of our population, veterans represent 20% of the suicides nationally. Every day, about 22 veterans die from suicide. Millions more suffer from PTSD so severe that they're unable to be productive members of society. Now, you guys know that our soldiers and our children are very dear to my heart. And I do definitely want to help them. And so, PTSD, some of the things that we found really can make a difference even for patients with PTSD. So, I was pretty excited to see that. And so as shocking as these statistics are, these people are much more than statistics. These are our children, our mothers, our fathers, our siblings, and our heroes, that have defended our country from radical extremists. And so, these are real people, not just statistics here. And we must do a better job at helping these patients. So as being a wellness practitioner, I begin to research this to see if there's something outside of what they're already doing that could be done to help them that much more. And I've discovered that there are many things that can be done that can help regulate the brain and the mind to work better, be more balanced, and to give these patients some relief from the burden of emotional disturbance that they carry around daily. And by getting the brain and the central nervous system to function more clearly and better and feed it the things that it needs to communicate and work and send these neural pathways in a healthy way, have shown to be promising. And so, of course, we can't say that we can cure these things or that we can help them all. But research shows that these things can be made better by just doing some real simple things to the brain and central nervous system. So after extensive research over several months, I've boiled it down to the 4 main things that can offer real hope for these people to live a better life. And we may even save some lives. We may even prevent some suicides or help some children or some American heroes with this. And so I've put together a protocol that includes these 4 steps, and we're going to dive into them next week. And I'm going to need multiple shows to cover this because this is complicated. Emotional disturbances are complicated. There's so many different things, everything from, the person's history to the person's nutritional content to their genetic makeup. It's just a complicated issue. So, it's impossible to say, yeah, we can fix these things.
Mm-hmm. As I'm listening to you, so many times, too, you see someone like a Robin Williams. You see them in public, and they just look like they're the happiest people on the planet.
Right.
Nothing could penetrate their happiness or their fame, their fortune. They just are on top of the world. And when they go behind closed doors, they're just not.
Right. And a lot of times that is one, and comedians are some of the
yes.
privately some of the most
yes.
torn people out there for some
That's
reason.
Right.
And I think that's because over the years they've just sort of developed this front that they show that, hey, I'm happy, I make people laugh. That's I'm a funny guy.
Well, it's a show. You have to click
the defense mechanism.
You have to click the switch on.
Exactly.
But when they're alone, they don't have to perform.
Right, exactly. So I'm going to dive into some of these things over the next several shows. One solution that we have, and we're going to talk about this next week, is I've discovered a new micronutrient, and this is really cool. But they have discovered a micronutrient to balance the brain activity. And the special thing about this micronutrient is there's a lab that has figured out how to wrap this micronutrient with a protein molecule so that it's much more readily absorbed into the brain. There's a blood-brain barrier that keeps a lot of the things that our brain needs out, just because some of the absorption rates that we have and some of the nutrition that we have, we're eating more than ever, but we're starving our brain of the proper nutrients that it needs. Well, if you just take this as a multivitamin, what happens is the molecules are not able to be absorbed because they're too large or they're not the right ones. And so what this lab did was they figured out a way to take a micronutrient to balance your brain, and they wrap it with a chelation process in a protein so that it's very readily absorbed and your brain can utilize it and be more balanced from one of these micronutrients. So this is really a cool thing. So don't miss next week's show. We're going to dive into this. And if you know anyone out there...
For those of you in Kaplan, by the way, that's like a jalapeno wrapped in bacon. Just saying.
Just kind of like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So the jalapeno would be the nutrient. The bacon would be the protein. You got it. You got it down.
Man, I'm just full of them this morning.
So if anybody out there is suffering with emotional disturbances, I don't care what it's called. I don't care if it's mild depression, severe depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, ADD, ADHD. If your kids are developing these things, give me a call. Register for this workshop. It's going to be on October 22nd. And just know this. Things can be done to help. It's 837-7174 in Lafayette, and it's 367-2 2567 in New Iberia, and it's going to be October 22nd. Ours is probably going to be at the Hilton Garden Inn across from the Cajun Dome this time. I'm sure this is going to be a huge workshop. So you'll want to get in early. Go ahead and call and register now.
And folks should not be embarrassed. And also, should folks attend maybe if they have someone in their lives they'd like to...
if you'd like to help somebody and they're not ready.
Yes.
They're not ready, but...
Yes. And by the way, if this is for your children... This is for the parents only. This is for adults only. So if your children are suffering with ADD, bipolar disorder, depression, anxiety, any of that, you'll want to have somebody watch them and come by yourself. This is really for the adults of the parents of children.
And a lot of folks ask me this, and I just want to be clear. You are there.
I'm the one. Yeah. I will be standing in the hall.
They ask me, well, does he send other? No, it's Dr.
It
Kevin.
Is me. It's me going through these things with you. And I'm going to show you the 4 things that I've discovered over the last 6 months that I've been researching over these things, and just show you that I'm going to show you the statistics and show you the research. And this micronutrient has been studied by over 25 universities from Harvard, all kinds of, there's been millions and millions of dollars spent on this, researching this micronutrient, and it is really blowing away every single study that they do. It's been remarkable at the difference. Okay. So you can call 837-7174 in Lafayette, 367-2567 in New Iberia, or join us on Facebook. Oh yeah, listen, don't miss my new column. I'm now a columnist. I didn't tell you.
I heard.
I write for the Acadiana Gazette.
Steve Landry. We love Steve.
Yeah, he told me to tell you hi. Yes.
Good folks over there.
I feel bad for Steve because he has to correct all my bad grammar now.
He enjoys it probably.
But
When's it come out?
So I'm a columnist. It's going to be on their health page, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the third week.
Okay.
If there's a correction to that, I'll let you know next week. But I think it's going to be the third week.
Awesome.
I think it's the third week of every month their health page comes out. So I'm going to be a columnist on there now. So I'm excited about that.
You're going to have to change your name to BD. Busy doctor.
Yes, yeah. That's what I asked him. I said, so how many words do I have to put into this now? And then my second question was, and who's going to correct all my bad grammar? He said, I'm a specialist in that. I said, all right, good. Well, you got a deal.
Well, congrats,
So I'm excited.
Doc.
Thank you.
All right, Brian Wellness Institute's Dr. Kevin, Wellness Wednesday.